Hi, I'm Emily Thompson, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Gertrude Chandler Warner. She's most popular for the series The Boxcar Children, which you may have read, so I'll be telling you a little bit about her life and about her books. As we mentioned, Gertrude Chandler Warner is the author of the Boxcar Children series. She was born in Putnam, Connecticut on April 16, 1890, to Edgar and Jane Warner. She lived across from a railroad station with her parents and two siblings, Frances and John. By 5 years old, she knew that she wanted to be an author. Her and her sister Frances even filled notebooks that their mother would buy them with their stories, and they called this publishing company of theirs Warner & Co. She also would spend her time writing stories for her grandpa Carpenter, and she would gift him one every Christmas. Her first book that she gifted him was a written and illustrated Gollywog at the Zoo. In her later life, although illnesses kept her from completing high school, she eventually studied education with Yale. In 1916, she published her first book, House of Delight, which shared the story of her childhood dollhouse and memories associated with that. As they got into adult life, her and her sister continued to write, and they submitted essays and stories for local magazines until World War I. In 1917, Warner joined the Red Cross and helped them with publicity. In 1918, men were being drafted for World War I. Warner, in order to replace the male teachers that were being drafted, began teaching first graders at about 28 years old. She taught for 32 years. While still teaching, she continued to write for magazines and religious groups. In 1924, she published her first boxcar book, simply titled The Boxcar Children, detailing the fun and mysterious lives of the four Alden children. She was inspired by the railroad station she had lived across from for most of her life. The Boxcar Children was first published in 1924, and it would be later republished in 1942. Here you can actually see the original publication, the first book in 1924. This is what the cover looked like. In 1942, it was revised by Warner, then published by Scott Forsman and Company, the publication of the popular Dick and Jane readers and other educational curriculum. For a time, Scott Forsman even used Warner's boxcar books as part of their educational curriculum. Warner revised the story specifically to make it suit children with smaller vocabularies in hopes that more children could read her books and that even those with reading disabilities challenges would be able to enjoy her books and the process of reading. In about 1950, around that time when she was about 60 years old, Warner retired so that she could write full-time. In the 1960s, her stories were officially taken over by Albert Whitman and Company. This is the sole and current owner of all Boxcar Children materials. In 1976, Warner published her last boxcar book, number 19, entitled Benny Uncovers a Mystery. In 1979, Warner died, leaving behind a legacy of 19 boxcar books and 15 other books for both adults and children. Even after her death, her legacy has continued to grow. She is commemorated in her death by the reward she received in life. In 1965, she received the award Woman of the Year from the Emblem Club, a political allegiance club. She also was awarded an American Red Cross pin for 50 years of service. When she died, young fans of her boxcar stories wrote Albert Whitman and asked the publication for more boxcar stories. Of the original series alone, which were her 19 original books, there are now 150 plus Boxcar Children books. Actually, the 157th, I believe it was actually published in October of 2020. So they're still going, even recently. But this does not even begin to include the Spanish translations, the 2 early reader collections, graphic novels, a special series, a prequel, and even a new animated movie series. Though the current books are written by a multitude of authors, every single one of them is credited to the creator of the original idea, Miss Gertrude Chandler Warner. Though in her time, librarians protested her books. They didn't like that she gave the Alden children such independence and self-reliance. She pressed on. She insisted on writing her books, and now they are cherished by children who adored the dream of self-sufficiency. Her incredible writing style and understanding of young minds have made her a legacy.